Hey, good Monday morning, December 1st here. I came downstairs to my studio with my coffee, and Blackmagic Design has given us another update here in DaVinci Resolve 20.3. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We're going to run over what is updated, the new things. I'm going to show you some of the new features, and I'm just going to tell you about a few of the others. But hey, my name is Jason, and I help creators just like you learn DaVinci Resolve so that you can edit faster, make your videos sound better, because I'm an audio guy, and just how to feel more comfortable with editing inside of DaVinci Resolve. So let's jump in Resolve and check out these updates. So Resolve now supports up to 32K resolution if you're on an Apple M5. 32K, that's crazy. Who's shooting in 32K? I don't know. I don't even shoot in 4K yet. Probably should, but I don't yet. So if you're using those higher resolutions, now it's supported if you're on a Mac on an M5. DaVinci Resolve now has new and updated improved performance when it comes to noise reduction. I'm assuming it's just going to work a whole lot better for you. I don't use noise reduction a whole lot, but if you do, I'm sure that's going to be a welcome change, that it's just going to work better for you. The next update here is improved timeline backups. Now you should all be running backups on your projects, your timelines, your databases or project libraries. Always be backing up just in case. But the timeline backups have been a little tricky because when it puts it on, your hard drive and it backs it up, it just gives it the name timeline and then the date and the time that it was saved. Well, what if you have multiple timelines in a project and you're not sure which one's which? It gets a little confusing. Check this out. So in DaVinci Resolve here, I do have different timelines, and if you wanted to make sure that your timelines are getting backed up, you would want to make sure that you come to Preferences, the User section, Project Save and Load, and right here you've got Timeline Backups. You want to make sure that that is checked on. Now it's going to save them wherever your backup location is, and if you've ever saved them and then went and looked at them, let me bring over my Finder window here, this is what they would typically look like. It's a timeline dot, the date, and the time. And you don't know which one is what. If you have multiple timelines in a project, it can get confusing. Same with the project files, same thing. So the new update is this. When your timelines get backed up, or if you want to force a backup, you can right-click on it, any timeline. Then you can come down to Create Timeline Backup. So then a little window is going to pop up, and it's going to allow you to name the backup for that particular timeline. And by default, it's going to put in the timeline name. So you can see right here is the timeline that I was using. It puts in that name, and now this is the second backup that I'm creating, so it automatically says backup 2. If I hit create, and let's just do another one just so you can see the difference here. Come down to create timeline backup. See, it automatically puts in number 3. I'm going to say create. If I come back onto my hard drive here where I have my backups, we can see these are from the previous version of Resolve, right? Just timeline, date, time. We don't know which one it is, but in here we can now see that it updates it with the timeline name as well as what backup number it is. I mean, you always can look at the time here or the numbers and the date and stuff like that to help figure it out, but it just makes it a whole lot easier because it was always a pain in the backside to figure out, well, which backup am I looking at? I don't know. But this update is very welcome. I think it's great because now you can actually tell what you're looking at. So that's a great one, the timeline backups here in DaVinci Resolve 20.3. The next update might come in handy when you're trying to sort out footage and you're looking through it in the media pool. So in the media pool, we've always had different headings up here that we can choose and sort by, but now they've added in a lot of the metadata tools that we can also use. So if I were to right click and say customize columns, we can see we have a whole bunch of stuff in here that we typically used to have, but then now we also have a whole bunch of other stuff like the camera types, all the metadata stuff. So you can sort your clips by any of this metadata, add any of these things as a column. Can make it really easy when you're trying to sort through loads of footage to find exactly what you need. So that's a nice welcome addition to being able to find things and organize things here in the media pool. You now have the option to create custom metadata for unknown fields when you're importing footage. So you can customize it and just add in things as you might need to. Now, I've never used that, but if you're adding in metadata when you're importing stuff, that's probably something that you'll like. Another one here, media pool views and states are now saved across projects or retained through projects. I think what that means, and I'm not 100% sure, is that in Resolve here that whatever, setup you have for your media pool here, your columns, your size, all that, I think that'll just carry through every project. You don't have to, resize it or add in new columns on every project. I think that's what it means. If it doesn't, go ahead, drop me a comment, let me know. The next feature here that's new is being able to add in a gap in your timeline through the right-click menu. So you can come to anywhere on your timeline. I'm just going to choose between these two clips. I'm going to right-click, and now we have paste paste insert, and insert gap. So let's say I want to insert a gap. It's going to put a little gap in there for me. Let's see, how long is it? 1, 2. It's a 2-second gap. In my case, I don't know if there's a default setting to set that, how big that gap is. There's got to be somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. But you can automatically insert a gap. And if I came to, let's see, a place where there is no cut, I'm going to right-click, insert gap, and it's going to cut those clips and insert a gap for me. So that's something that can come in handy if you need to put a gap in your timeline. You could just right-click and add it in really quick and easy. I like that feature. All right, the next update here is 2 keyboard shortcuts that got added. So in order to find them or add them, because they're not added in by default, you just have the option to be able to put something in for it or add a keyboard shortcut. We're going to come up to DaVinci Resolve Keyboard Customization. Now in here, the first one that we want to search is search. So right here, we've got the option to add in a keyboard shortcut for the search feature inside of our media pool. So maybe you're looking through your media pool, you're searching for a particular set of clips or something like very often, and you just want a keyboard shortcut to bring up that search bar so you can search. And let me just show you what that looks like. Over here, we got our media pool. Right here, you got the search bar. So instead of having to click there, you can add a keyboard shortcut and it'll just pop it up. You just put whatever you want there in keyboard customization, and then you can use it. If this is something that you use like a lot and often, being able to add a keyboard shortcut just helps speed up your workflow. So that would come in handy. The second keyboard shortcut, if we come back to keyboard customization, is an assignable key to automatically open up a timeline inside of the source viewer. So if you just search source view in your keyboard customization here, you're going to see media pool, open in timeline with source viewer. So you can add in a keyboard shortcut like that. And if I just close out of here, it's basically going to be able to take a timeline and open it up in this viewer right here. You can always just click, hold, and drag and drop it in there too. It's also going to open it up. But that's a keyboard shortcut. If you're looking through timelines a lot, or maybe you're combining timelines, whatever it might be, that's something that might come in handy for you. Another one I'm just going to mention here is that speed changes and duration changes now react or follow sync lock. So if you're using the sync lock, you have it on, you're moving things around. If you've changed speeds on clips and things like that, it's going to retain the changes that you made. It's not going to mess up those clips. So that's something that could come in handy if you're changing speeds of clips, you're using the sync lock and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's something that's going to, come in handy for you. The next update here, they also added in some broadcast safe aspect ratios, so you don't go outside of our boundaries where we can be for certain types of, environments, filming, or whatever it might be. So in Resolve here, I'm in the Edit tab, and to find those things, I'm going to actually just use one viewer. But right up here, we have this little guy in the Edit tab. If I click the drop down here, we can see we have 2.39 and we have 2.4. So you could select either one of those. It's going to show you the safe lines of where you can actually edit and where you can keep your video to make sure that you're not outside of the aspect ratio that you're working on. So those are two handy things that if you work in those ratios, then you got that there. You can make sure that your video stays safe and it doesn't get cut off. The next update here is that we now have alpha support for the film creator look. And if we were to just come into Resolve here, I've got a clip up on the screen. I threw on the film creator look. I'm going to open that up, and if we scroll to the bottom, we now have use alpha. So I don't think that was there before. I think that's the new thing that we can use the alpha for that. I hadn't noticed this before, but yeah, I think that's the new part, and we can use the alpha channels, I guess, to work with the film look creator. So that's something that could come in handy if you're using this tool often. My kitty's hiding behind my curtain over here. I hear him walking around. He's just checking out. He's hanging out. The next update here is something that's probably handy if you work on clips where sometimes you're playing the clip in reverse, right? Sometimes we want to do that. Well, this update improves match frame actions with clips that are going backwards. So maybe there used to be some kind of a sync up thing when you hit that match frame because maybe the clip was going backwards. I don't know, Resolve got a little confused. I don't know, I never ran into any of those problems. But if you use clips going backwards and then you need to use the match frame tool, which in Resolve, it's this guy right here, it shows you the original clip with in and out points on there. That's going to come in handy, that it's now going to find the limits of it better is what I'm interpreting this as. So that's something that might come in handy for you as well. Now, I'm just going to read through a bunch of other stuff here because I got the list of all the improvements here. So other things that got updated, they addressed missing clip actions in subtitle caption context menus. They addressed source timeline not being restored when you switch back to an edit. Tracking issues with high quality deinterlace in Fusion has been fixed. We've addressed issues with loading some deep open EXR files. I have no idea what that even means, but if you know what it means, it's probably a good update for you. Here's one that I do know. They addressed the AI music remixer muting audio on Mac 26.1. I don't know which Mac version that is. I don't think I'm up to there yet, but I have heard of some issues with some of the AI audio tools on Mac or muting, some of the audio or some weird issues like that. So hopefully that's going to fix up any problems that you might have had and take care of that stuff for you. They addressed decoding issues with compressed ARW clips. Again, I don't know what that is. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed here. They also addressed possible QuickTime decode hangs on Windows, addressed remote monitor startup issue on Windows, and of course we've got the all-encompassing general performance and stability improvements. So overall, I think we got a good couple updates here. Blackmagic is always hard at work behind the scenes. Blackmagic, we really appreciate everything that you guys do. I mean, you're always putting out the updates, you're addressing problems. I know people get frustrated out there sometimes because things aren't working, but as long as they, voice that and say the problems that they're having, Blackmagic is usually pretty good at addressing those problems in a pretty timely fashion. I have to say that they generally put out stuff pretty quickly to, resolve issues that we come across. I mean, because think about it, right? If you're them, you're sitting in the office and you're trying to write this program, there's no way you're going to come across every single possible scenario where you might run into a problem, right? That's why they rely on us to say, hey, I was doing this, I had this problem, can you fix it? And then they take that into consideration and they can go and fix it, right? There's a lot more of us to test things out than there is, I'm sure, at Blackmagic to run through the gazillion different options of things that could cause a problem, right, with any kind of update. But that is your update here in DaVinci Resolve 20.3. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my coffee. I got some other videos to work on, got some quick tip videos, got another video I think is gonna be coming out this week with some amazing deals for you on some of my favorite microphones. I'll give you a hint. They make this one right here. This one is amazing. But there's some good sales coming up there. It's from Sennheiser. But keep an eye out for those if you're looking for an awesome microphone. But with that said, I'm going to get out of here, get back to work here, get my week going, and I will catch you in the next video. Download this. Oh, make sure to back up that database first, right? We should always back up our database first. Make sure you do that. Download this update, install it, and you're going to be off and running. All right. Thank you so much again. My name is Jason. If you're brand new here, I help creators just like you learn DaVinci Resolve, help make your audio better because I'm an audio guy, and just take the mystery out of working in Resolve because the learning curve's steep. It's challenging. We all get frustrated. I've been there too, and I'm here to help you. So with that said, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.